Life in a world that keeps changing. Think that it's progress you're making. Copy and paste pretty faces all the time. Pictures so perfect we play through, only cause you set up the angle. Web that you weave got us tangled, caught in what's before our eyes. Show off your fantasy reality, whoa, that's yours, but I'll keep doing mine. You'll be living your good life.
Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So I thought I'd pop on quickly and do a quick video about my pregnancy update for this week. First of all, let me apologise for my very shiny, no makeup face. I've just done a facial and I just don't really want to be putting makeup on at this time of night for a video. So you got me naked faced, and I've got loads of school stuff on the caddy behind me, so it's all a bit of a mess. But I wanted to quickly jump on and give you this pregnancy update. It is my 21-week update. And I believe baby is the size of an eggplant this week, which is, if I recall, trying to remember, 11 to 12 inches long. And that's from head to heel, not head to rump. Head to rump means when you are measuring from head to bum. But we now measure from head to heel. I think you measure that for after 19 weeks. After 19 weeks, you measure from head to heel. That's how it does it on the apps anyway, I think. So yeah, that's how big baby is, give or take, because each baby is different, of course. So we did have our scan, and yes, we do know the gender. There will be a video. There will be a video for you guys to see. It will be a very quick video that will come up after this one. I'm not too sure when, but you will be able to see what the gender is. It's not anything extravagant. It's literally a very short video just to let you guys know what the gender is. It's either going to be a boy or a girl. It's a 50-50 chance. Typically, every time I film, some large vehicle goes past our house or the kids start screaming. It's just like, it's like already set up. I think they plan it. So, where shall I start? The scan. Let's start with the scan. First of all, getting to the scan was really quite difficult for me, I found. I don't really know what triggered it. I think because we didn't get this far with Jackson, it was kind of a big cloud of worry and fear that was hanging over my head in case they were going to tell me something was wrong, or, you know, I was imagining the fact that I was pregnant or something like that. You know, it's all these kind of these horrible, illogical thoughts will run through my brain, and getting into the car to go to the hospital, it just sparked a huge anxiety attack, and it took me a little while to calm myself down. But by the time I got there, and I was booked in and I was sat in the waiting room, I did start to calm down a bit. And we got in there fine, and they always give you that moment where they have all the screens that are up above you turned off, and they put theirs on, and even though I could feel baby moving, I could feel baby kicking away, rolling around, it still gave me that heart-stopping moment where they're so silent and they don't say a word. And she wasn't our regular, she's not your regular sonographer. She was an advanced practitioner sonographer. I think that was the right title. So she was, she was very good at her job, as it were. She was very, very thorough. But she looked at me and she said, "Everything's fine. Baby's doing good." And she switched all the screens on, and we did this massive big sign of relief, and it went really, really well. Obviously, these appointments are usually around about 40 minutes to an hour long for your 20-week scan, because they like to be really thorough and check all of the organs, the growth, making sure that all the bones are right, making sure they've got all 10 fingers and toes, or 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. Let's get technical. And they like to check all that the skull is intact and everything, so there's no gaps, things like that. And she was really, really thorough. She talked us through every bit, every tiny little bit that she was doing. She talked us through everything. She had all the colours coursing through the baby's heart, so we could see the 4 chambers. It was quite funny though, because baby was being so awkward. She tried to measure baby's spine, and every time she tried to measure it, baby was rolling around and tucking up into a ball. So she just couldn't get the measurement she needed. So I kept having to move and roll around and trying to get baby to move. And then when she was checking baby's heart, she was getting such a good view. It was going really, really well. She took the probe off for about 2 seconds, came back, and baby had put arms across the chest, so she couldn't get to the heart properly, to see the heart properly. So again, I had to do all the moving around. We had the same scenario with the skull. Baby was doing this. We even had one point, we had this view of baby sitting there with their pinky up like this. It was just so funny. We all had a bit of a giggle. And then when it came to checking the gender, those legs were tightly squeezed closed, so we couldn't see. So it took a while before we knew what the gender was. But everything was perfect. Everything was measuring right. Everything was in the right place. She checked absolutely everything. Every tiny little detail she went through, and she was really happy that baby was absolutely perfect. So we were in there for quite a while. By the time we got out of that room, oh, honestly, I was just exhausted from that, from being prodded and poked and pulled around from every direction. It was just one of those awkward scans where the baby doesn't do as it's told. But after that, we had to go round to the day assessment unit and have a general blood pressure check and urine dipstick done, which is usually a standard thing that you would have with your midwife, but I have to have them done quite regularly now because they were worried that, you know, I might start, as I'm getting close to my 24 weeks, they're worried that I might start going into forming preeclampsia again. And that's another thing they did in the scan as well. She said it was a new thing they started doing. They checked on blood flow from me to the baby, but they were checking for signs of preeclampsia, whether it puts me at low risk or high risk, and things like that. And she did say that my numbers were really good and it put me at a low risk of preeclampsia this time around. So fingers crossed I don't have to go down that road again. But I do still have to have my checks done with my blood pressure and my urine. Normally we would just go straight through one door, through a corridor, into the day assessment unit. But unfortunately they were replacing all of the floors. So we had to go out of the scanning department, go down to the bottom floor of the hospital, and now we were on the top floor, and walk all the way around the hospital and go back up to day assessment. Now this was the funniest thing because we had no clue where we were going. It was all these windy corridors. It was silent. It was so creepy. There was nobody down there. It was like an old section of the hospital. And first off, there were signs on the walls telling us where to go, and then all of a sudden they just stopped. And we got lost. Thankfully, there were security guards and maintenance people around that were helping us. Otherwise, we would have just been really lost. Eventually, we made it into the day assessment unit, and they had no clue who I was and why I was there, which was even better because I had to try and explain to her why I was there, and that my usual midwife that was back home where I lived sent me up there to have that done after my scan. It was also complicated, but eventually I got my blood pressure checked, which turned out to be absolutely perfect. I think it was like 115/66, which was like shocking because my blood pressure is normally way higher than that, like way higher than that. So that was really good. However, they took a urine specimen. Thank the Lord. I was already needing to go when I got there, and there was a bathroom ready waiting for me, because obviously you have to hold your urine when you go for a scan. Not so much with your 20-week one. You don't have to be like bursting at the seams, but it is better for them if you hold some because it pushes baby up and they get a better look. So by the time I got to the day assessment unit, I really needed to go. So it was good that they needed a specimen at that point. However, And this is where the howevers come in. Now, I mentioned in my last update that I was having issues with dehydration despite the fact that I was drinking loads. I had gone past badly dehydrated. I was severely dehydrated. I was actually, I had protein in my water. I had a lot of blood in my water, to the point of my urine, sorry for the TMI ladies, but my urine was actually red. Which spiked a big concern. I got very told off for not drinking water, even though I tried to tell her that I do nothing but drink water. Yeah, she was a really difficult midwife to work with. But yeah, she wouldn't listen to me when I tried to tell her. She didn't believe me that I was drinking loads of water all the time. And even my husband tried to tell her. So that was, that was fun. But I've done nothing but literally over the last few days fill up on so much water that I possibly could do, and thankfully everything is coming back to normal now, so I'm just constantly walking around with a bottle of water. I think I'm drinking about between 3 and 4 litres a day, which is a ridiculous amount, not for people that are on the go all the time, but I've been in the house the last few days, so when you're drinking 3 to 4 litres, you're constantly in the bathroom, constantly. Mind you, saying that, for the first couple of days, I was drinking that amount of water and I wasn't needing to go to the bathroom. That was just literally showing you how much I needed those fluids. So baby is literally sucking everything out of me. We did have colds as well, though. We did have nasty fevers and colds. Nothing along the lines of COVID. We just had these colds. They were very flu-like, but it wasn't flu. It only lasted a couple of days, and I'm still getting over mine. And maybe it was the fever that pulled the fluids from me, because you do get very dehydrated with the fever. So maybe it was that. I don't know, but that was the case, and we're getting better now. My dehydration is coming back together. My skin's actually looking a lot better. My eyes are less sunken in. So yeah, that's all looking good. The only other thing that I've had going on is ligament pain, which is a big pain in the backside. It is a lot of people end up going to the hospital because they think maybe that something's wrong, or they're going into labour because they've got ligament pain. Now, it is one of the most excruciatingly painful things to have. I had it from Dylan onwards. Now, Dylan was my second child. This is my 9th. So I've had it in all of my pregnancies since Dylan. And it doesn't get any better. It really doesn't get any better. It is down the side of the stomach. There's 2 tendons that literally hold up your uterus, and they just get really, really stretched. Now, imagine if you're pulling an elastic band, it's going to rip and it's going to twang, and it's literally like that. It's horrible. So I've had a lot of that, mainly through the night, which is beautiful when you're trying to sleep. So there's that going on. So yeah, that it's been beautiful with that. Thankfully, touch wood, everything that I've got wood around me. I haven't had SPD. I actually haven't had SPD in my last few pregnancies, so I was really worried about that one. Given the amount of ligament pain that I've had, I was really worried about having SPD, but it hasn't come about. Touch wood. Sorry, it's something my mum always used to do. We used to say touch wood to give us good luck, and we always used to touch our head. I don't know why, but yeah, that's a thing. For cravings and things like that, I haven't really, apart from, again, the icy cold water, and squash. Now, I didn't like squash before. Like fruit, what's it called? Orange squash, that's it. I didn't like that before. I do now, but it has to be the orange and pineapple one, which is weird. If I drink the normal orange squash, it makes me taste funny. It just doesn't taste right. But the orange and pineapple does, which is weird because I'm not an orangey, pineapple-y, squashy person. So yeah, there's that. I've been drinking that as well. What else? Protein. I've been craving a little bit more protein in my diet. Is Kevin trying to get the girls to sit down because they are going a little bit crazy. do you know, he winds them up so much. He chases them around, he plays games, and then when he tries to get them to sit down, they just won't do it, and he wonders why. You know, it's almost bedtime. It is almost bedtime. They should be settled down, ready to go to bed, but no, he's got them playing games. So he wonders why they're going crazy. Anyway, protein, that's what I was talking about. I keep getting lost in my conversations. Things like eggs or chicken, things that are a little bit more hearty, I've been wanting to include in my diet a bit more. Only over the last few days I've been really hungry, so I'm trying to include that protein, but then kind of build myself up on loads of vegetables alongside it. Or if I want eggs for breakfast, I'll chuck in a load of tomato and spinach and things like that and make a scrambled egg with all that in it. Just try to bulk it out so I'm not so hungry, because I've been ridiculous hungry, which is different. In my last 2 pregnancies I wasn't hungry at all, and yeah, so you know, and that was with Harper and Jackson, so I wasn't hungry with either of those. But this one I've been really hungry all the time. But I think that is it. I think that's all I have to update you on. I don't have any appointments with consultants or scans or like full-on midwife appointments for at least a month now. They don't see you that often anymore, which is really odd. I do have my fortnightly checkups with my blood pressure, so I'll have those, but it won't be a full meet-up with my midwife. So it's going to be a bit strange. I feel like, I don't know if that makes me feel good that they don't feel like they need to do it, or it makes me feel like nervous because they're not living in my back pocket and I can't have them at my beck and call every 2 seconds in case something's wrong, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I say them when I see them, and if anything's wrong, I'll be sure to call them anyway. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to keep you guys in the loop with my pregnancy, because you guys have been a massive part of, you know, after having Jackson. So I definitely want to keep you guys in the loop. And I'm sorry that this video has been really higgledy-piggledy. I've got 1,000,001 things running through my brain. I'm going to be working in a minute. I haven't had any food yet. The kids are running wild because Kevin is just terrible at being that strict, it's time for bed kind of daddy. Bless him. They get away with anything they want when he takes care of them. He's such a softie, and he's definitely the playful parent, whereas I have to be the bad cop. I have to tell them that they've got to go to bed. That's mean, and then they, you know, it's not fun. It's just not fun. Anyway, I'm gonna go and deal with all the things that I've got to deal with. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you think you know what the gender is already, stick it in the comment box below and have a guess, and you will see in my maybe next video. I'm not sure whether the gender reveal will be my next video or it will be a vlog. Don't know. We will see. You have to hold on to your hats. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.